edition of Wiffle Ball Weekly. We know we've been out of action for a while, but we're super excited to be back in the studio. As you can tell, this is not the normal room. We've always been in the game room, but we have our own designated place in the house now. So this is the official NC Wiffle Studios, and so we're very excited to be here. I'm here in the studio with my buddy Bryson McGee, another edition of Wiffle Ball Weekly, and we're going to give you the rundown of how we started off the second half. We had a very busy first week. After the opening weekend, we had a very busy week back in action. We played 6 games? 6 games. So it was wide open, lots of action, a lot of good competition. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. So the first 3 games we played were the Blue Jays and Nationals, Braves and Athletics, and Nationals and Mariners. With the Blue Jays losing 13-18 to the Nationals. The Braves beat the Athletics 6-3. Bryce, you want to fill them in a little bit on that one, because I know that it was a very tedious situation, and one swing of the bat could have changed everything.
Yeah, he had the bases loaded, the winning run on second, I think it was, wasn't it?
I think he had the bases loaded, so the winning run would have been at home.
Winning run would have been at home or something like that. So it was a really good game. Devin played well. It was a little bit tough trying to get used to him because I hadn't seen him in an actual game setting before, so it took a little bit to get used to him. That's why the score was so low, essentially. So
yeah, it was a good game. And the Nationals and Mariners was an absolute barn burner.
You wasn't here for that game.
I wasn't here. I had to work that evening, but I was able to make it for. I made it right as they finished up. The Mariners, won 9-8. He finished with the bases loaded, and Taylor crossed first base as Ethan pegged him. So his foot hit, and he pegged him right then. So of course it was a tie, so he was safe. So he won on a walk off. But just the sheer action of knowing that a bang bang play finished the game was absolutely fantastic.
It was a real good game to call from the booth. That's for sure.
And like I said, I missed because I had to work, but I got here, they were like, check this out. And I was like, oh man. So we'll go on to the rest of what we had here going on. So the Athletics and Diamondbacks played, and I won 7-6 against Devin Moore. But of course, that was a very fun game as well. He had the bases loaded, and the winning run was on second with 2 outs. So a sheer double would have ended it. But I was able to stay strong on the mound. And I tell you what, Devin's a firecracker. He's a very, very fun guy to play, and I look forward to having him as a prospect next season, and really looking forward to seeing him perform with his team in the Classic. But and then the National Braves faced off, and the Braves won. Bryce won 13-10, but that was a very a very odd game. Ethan had 2 home runs, I think. Bryson had 2 or 3. They were back and forth. Ethan led most of the game. Until towards the end of the 3rd or 4th inning when it got close, and then went to extras, and Bryson 1 and 5 on a walk-off home run. But
not my best game.
But if you watch the post game to that, Bryson says that it's not his best performance, and he's not very thrilled to win because he did not deserve to win. Bryson, what was going through your mind during that performance when you know that Ethan played lights out?
Oh yeah, I had already had my mindset that he was probably going to beat me this game. I was trying to get prepared, but it happened how it did, but I still don't feel great about that performance. I still look for the next game to be better than that, because that was a terrible performance on my behalf.
Well, your next matchup is you get the Blue Jays next?
Yeah, Blue Jays next.
Okay, so he's got a couple days to recuperate as we get ready for the Classic coming up here in the next week or so after the All-Star game. But and then the Diamondbacks and Mariners faced off, Taylor and myself, and he beat me 5-0, and that was a very disappointing game on my behalf. It was a night game. It was a lot of fun to play. I like night games, but I left the bases loaded 3 times. I had 2 guys on in 1 inning. So if you do the math on that, that's 11 runners left on base. So that was very, very, very disappointing. And I actually had the bases loaded with 2 outs when he struck me out to finish the game. So knowing that I left 11 potential runs without crossing the plate was very disappointing, to say the least. I had quite a few strikeouts. Not very proud of my performance in that game, but Taylor played lights out, and I tell you what, man, on the mound now, I had 3 up, 3 down, strikeout start the first, and I felt good about it. Then I got in the box, and it just was not my night. And then I had a couple off-speed pitches working, but then I left one over the plate, and Taylor, he put it in the trees. So, but anyway, it happens.
That was a moonshot.
Oh, that was a bomb. It was a bomb and a half. It was every bit of probably 100 and 105 feet. But anyway, but it was a good game. It was fun to play. Looking forward to getting back on track next game against the Nationals. But we'll go into the standings here. So obviously, as we stated, Bryson is 13-0 with 13-game win streak. He's not been beaten yet. Come close the past 2 games, and so which I would assume makes him nervous as we progress on down into the second half, knowing that the first 2 out of the first 3 games of the second half have proved to be very difficult performances. So we'll see if he can continue to chug along towards undisputed glory. The Mariners coming in at 7-4, are 5 games out of first place, a 3-game win streak. The Diamondbacks, myself, 7-6, 6 games back out of first. The Athletics, Devin Moore, 3-6. Just happened to have back-to-back, tough games against Bryson and myself. And then the Nationals at 4-9, and the Blue Jays at 2-8. I want to say very spread out statistically, but honestly, there's the Braves, and then there's everybody else. Everybody else is kind of in a dogfight. As we can see, the Mariners are 5 games back, the D-backs are 6 games back. So I still have 1 game against Taylor this season, and if I can win it and salvage the 3-game series for the year, it could be very interesting as to who gets the number 2 seed come playoff time. And I think that'll be really interesting. And then, of course, the Nationals and Blue Jays are only a half a game apart, with the Blue Jays being in last. But even so, that's very close. Athletics and Nats are obviously 1 game apart. So,
and I really feel like them past 2 performances from the Nationals will progress towards the end of the year.
Ethan's put on a heck of a performance the past 2 games.
He's definitely the comeback player of the year right now.
Think so?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Definitely. He played lights out. He had several strikeouts against Bryson. And just absolutely just played phenomenally.
His pitching was working.
His pitching was good. He pitched really well. He was in the box really well. So just to see that out of him after the first half he had when he got hurt and kind of finished the first half, I think at 3-7. So that's kind of discouraging. But even though he's 1-2 so far in the second half, it's very encouraging to see him perform the way he is. Yes, we haven't done this yet, but we're going to go on to division standings. So the National League, obviously Bryson is 8-0. The D-backs are 2-4. With me, I'm 2-4, and then the Blue Jays are 0-6.
Whoa.
Sorry, there's an error. That should say Nationals. I do apologize. That should say Nationals, and that will be fixed. But anyways, the Nationals are 0-6, 7 games back. But as you can see, there's a Y next to the Braves, and that means that Bryson has clinched the National League with number 1 seed. So very proud of his performance right there. So it's really interesting to see that we've already had a spot clinched that quickly, and when I go to the next slide, when you see the American League, you will see exactly why I say that. To the American League, the Athletics are 2-1. Obviously, Devin Moore taking over for Brian McGee. They're 2-1. The Mariners are 2-2. So he's only a half game back behind Devin, and then the Blue Jays are 1-3, and James is only a game and a half back out of first. So the American League is going to be a dogfight the remainder of this season. Very interesting to see what happens with the American League going through the rest of this year. I'll tell you what, Devin Moore is a firecracker, but Taylor has proven to be fairly successful so far. So because he played Ethan, he beat me, so he's 2-0 so far in the second half. So it'll be really fun to see what happens there, because him and Devin will face off presumptively soon. I'm not sure what their schedule is, but they'll face off soon. And knowing that he's only half a game back, he can take the lead. Or tie it just like that. So
I think the way his schedule is, I think it's the Mariners, and then he's already played the Mariners. He might be next on his schedule.
Okay, so anyway, so Taylor and Devin are on a collision course, with Devin being in first right now, and the Mariners being in second. So that's a half game back. That's a battle, and we'll be very excited to cover that throughout the rest of the season. We're gonna kind of wind it down. The upcoming schedule obviously is All-Star Day with our Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game in which the winning team, which will be National League versus American League, will receive home field advantage for the World Series for this year. And then the Midsummer Classic, obviously we've talked about for a while now. We finally unveiled the bracket earlier this week or last week, whatever it was. But anyway, we finally unveiled the bracket for that, so we're very excited for all the prospects for next season to be coming into play. And obviously, All-Star is going to be fun. Bryson, what are you most looking forward to about the Home Run Derby? I know I'm looking forward to the potential of going back-to-back. Obviously, right here, the trophy, it says me for last year. But obviously, I don't know that with the bat that Bryson's had this year, I think he's cranking somewhere around 24, 20, 730, something like that, home runs this season. So knowing that, obviously I'm very nervous. But Bryson, what are you most looking forward to going into the All-Star game?
I'm just looking forward to kind of getting some redemption from the home run derby last year. Didn't have a great outing. Everybody was expecting me to do what they're expecting me to do this year. So we'll just see if I can bounce back this year and make a run towards the finals and then win it maybe. So.
Well, hopefully so. Well, scratch that. Not hopefully so, because I want to win. But we'll see what happens. It'll be a lot of fun. The Midsummer Classic, obviously, we're super stoked about. It's coming up here in the next week or two, and so we're coming up on the 25th. So we're really excited about that.
We will be drafting teams for that day.
That's right. And we'll be drafting. We'll be drafting the Midsummer Classic teams after the All-Star game, because we'll have all the guys here and we'll all draft each prospect or two, however it ends up falling. So we're excited about that. But give you our social medias. So Instagram obviously is NC_Wiffle. YouTube is NC Wiffle Ball, and our contact is ncmowb@gmail.com. We thank you so much for your support.
Yes.
We know that it's been a while since we've been able to put out some content, but we're really excited to be back on here. And thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing y'all next time. Have a great night.
See y'all.